Good afternoon everyone, welcome back to the Nature Patch. My name is Robyn and I wanted to do kind of a shorter video today, basically just a little bit of a catch up of what we've been doing around here in the garden, and also to have a look at some of the trees that we've planted in the backyard. So I've got quite a few trees that we've planted. Make sure to grab a cup of tea or coffee for this video. I'm drinking an Earl Grey tea this afternoon, and I'm thinking of making a thing where in each of my videos I'm going to link the tea or coffee that I'm drinking in the description box so you can check it out. I'm a very big tea and coffee drinker, and particularly in winter I do like to have a nice cup of tea when I'm going around in the garden. So to give a little bit of perspective, behind me over there is my kind of food forest style permaculture in situ garden that I've created in the ground there using swales to conserve water and a lot of other principles that you see in nature. So I'm walking away from that, and then behind me here is another garden that we have, and this is more of a kind of market style garden, I suppose you could say. Still using a lot of permaculture principles, but we're trying to just grow a lot more quantity of food here and grow it in a bit of a shorter time frame as well. And another big massive part of growing food is investing, and a way you can do that is investing in different fruit trees. So there's quite a few different fruit trees that I'll run you through really quickly what these are. They're all fairly young right now, so they have quite a few years to mature, but some of them are already producing fruit, which is really awesome to see. If you want to see one of the most grumpy cats in the world right now, Annabelle Margaret up there, or Annie, really wants to be outside with me and not happy. She tends to get quite sick outside though, so we like to keep her inside rather than out. So this is a little bit of an overview of the walk that I'm going to take you on. I'm going to start here. This one here is a lime tree, and around it we have kind of a very large understory of our pumpkin vine, which is still producing so many pumpkins. This here is a Tahitian lime, and I just love citrus trees. They're just really pretty, and they're going to add a lot of good shade to this area, which is quite near to the house. We're very big gin and tonic fans in the family, and adding Tahitian limes to that is just, well, in my personal opinion, I don't think you can have a G&T without some lime in it, but each to their own. So moving down from that tree all across the pumpkin vine, we have this one here that I have been heavily pruning, and still it has a way to go, to be honest. It wasn't pruned from the get-go, so it grew a little bit funny. But this one here is a lemonade tree. Lemonades are one of my absolute favorite fruits. It's basically like a sweet lemon, and they just remind me of my childhood because I ate so many as a kid. We've had one lemonade off this tree, and I think we're going to split it between the four of us because they're just so delicious. Right, so moving down here, all of the ones that we've recently planted. The first one that we have here is a ruby grapefruit, another one of my faves. So this will grow to about 8 meters or so and provide just some awesome shade to this area as well. You can kind of see I've put a few little holes in here, and what I've actually done over the past few days is plant some spring bulbs in here. Whether they'll come up and flower in spring or actually just late winter is totally up to them, mainly considering we just don't have a really cold winter here. So spring, winter, you know, subtropics. I never know how to say it, but I've planted, I think they're called trellis. It's a really beautiful purpley kind of star flower that comes up, and I'm actually going to be planting quite a few different flowers around a lot of these trees to kind of create a little bit of a circular barrier around these trees to fill it with lots of different diversity in terms of the leaves and the flowers that will grow on these plants, to hopefully ward off a few nasty bugs, to kind of confuse the bugs when they come nearer to the trees and the base of the plant. It's also going to act as a living mulch as well to kind of keep the grass at bay around these few trees. This is what we planted in the last video, one of the kumquats. Still got some kumquats on there, and I have planted some flowers around here as well. I can't remember if I did nasturtiums or trellis here, but we'll see when they pop up. This one here, I'm actually not sure if it's a dwarf tree or not. I wasn't told what it was, so if it's a dwarf it may struggle a little bit in the heat of summer, but we'll see. Then moving down here, we've got an olive tree. Now this one here is a dwarf tree. I'm not actually sure exactly what kind of species of olive this is, but it is really happy in this position so far. It's got lots of new shoots, which is great to see. I've also just fed them some dynamic lifter, basically just pelletized chicken manure, to give them all a bit of a head start as well. Luckily I came down here because I see the next 3 that I'm going to show you really need a water, so this is an example of what not to do. But I have 3 pawpaws that I've planted along here. These are hopefully going to give a little shade to whatever we plant on this side of the veggie patch. We've started to prepare the beds for some potatoes up there, but we're not too sure what we're going to plant down the end here yet. And I'll run through the rest pretty quickly. We've got another pawpaw here. We actually have another hole around where those lovely weeds are that yeah, we're not too sure what to plant here. So if you do have any good recommendations about what trees grow really well in the subtropics around the Brisbane area, I'd love to know, because I would love to go out to the nursery and go pick another tree. We've also planted a mulberry here. Love mulberry trees. They're one of my favorite fruits. And then we have a fig down here as well. It was planted with these figs on it. Not the best idea to be planting a tree with fruit on it, but that's all right. And it's lost its leaves, but it has a lot of new shoots, so I'm very hopeful for this little guy. Right, so that was a little tour of all the trees that we've got growing. Definitely space to add more though, so leave a comment down below of what you think we should plant. I'm going to walk over back to the other garden now and show you what I've been up to today. So one of the things I've been doing this afternoon is rummaging around underneath the house to find some support systems for the snow peas that I'm going to be planting. We seem to have a very short window, at least in our microclimate here, of growing snow peas. We're not too close to the coast, so we tend to have very, very warm, hot summer days. Even in winter, it can get quite warm during the day, but then it drops a lot at night and can get quite cold, which snow peas don't seem to mind. What they don't like though is really, really harsh, hot sun. So now is a perfect time for us to get our snow peas in the ground. And I've already planted a row of them wherever I had space in the garden, but I wanted to get some more in the ground today. And this is where I wanted to bring up the topic again of the fact that you don't really need a lot of money or resources to be able to grow food. I absolutely hate spending money on garden related things. Apart from seeds, I will spend a little bit of money on them, and plant starts occasionally. Usually most of the things in the backyard here and that I use in the garden are either found on the side of the road, repurposed from friends chucking out things, or I have randomly found them somewhere within the house that isn't being used for its intended purpose, and then I bring it out into the garden and use it out here. And today's example was finding some wire mesh underneath the house and a lot of cricket stumps. So I'm in a family who loves cricket. Me, not so much. To be honest, I find it a very confusing sport, but there were so many different cricket stumps lying around underneath the house, and they're really, really great because they have a really pointy end on them. They're very sturdy and they act as really, really great stakes for staking things in the garden. The only thing, they're not too tall, which I am managing with, but I have used them to make some snow pea supports. So I found 2 different wire mesh pieces underneath the house. One of them I found in the bush once when I was walking around, so definitely repurposing that one. And the other one I've had for years, and I've used it over and over again to grow dwarf snow peas and other sweet peas and beans up as well. So when I am planting snow peas, I like to give a little bit of a distance between where the support starts and the ground is, and that's just because snow peas don't really grow their little tendrils until they're about that height anyway, which is then when they can latch onto here and find their way up. Rather than starting right from the ground, it runs the risk of kind of maybe trapping them and then having to actually wind them up straight as they come up as seedlings. Plants are actually a lot smarter than we give them credit for, and they'll find their way perfectly up on this support. So I don't really need to baby them from when they come out of the ground. This soil here has been getting better and better as time has gone on, with a really thick layer of mulch, which is basically turned into kind of humus down below. It's going to be great for the snow peas, and there is a little bit of horse manure worked into this as well. So I'm going to be planting the Mammoth melting snow pea. This one's my favorite variety, and all I do is use my trusty dibber and read the packet. I always like to read the packet, and then I always do my own thing as well. It says to plant about 5 centimeters deep. So I'm going to get on to doing this, and then I'll show you just the last little update that has changed in the garden as well. And that last little update is that I've put some little broccoli seedlings in the ground here. I'm not fantastic at growing broccoli. I really haven't grown much in my life. It's something I find really challenging in a subtropical environment as well, just because of the bug pressure. But I have noticed a massive decline in bugs lately, so I have put some in the ground. So I have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 broccoli plants in the ground. And the way I have done this, I'll put some overlays / photos on the screen. We emptied the compost bin the other day, one of the tumbleweed composters. They just make really fast compost, but the only downside is that it's a very rough compost that is made. I'm going to do another video soon about my favorite composting techniques. This one is a spoiler, isn't it, but it comes close. So with the compost, what we did was we used it as a mulch, just because it does have a lot of other bigger material and a lot of seeds that hadn't broken down. And the process of using that was just overlaying it on top of the existing mulch that was already here. And then primarily because of all of the seeds that were in the compost, I've just covered it with some random cardboard that we had around, and then overlaid that with some sugarcane mulch, which is my favorite type of mulch because it breaks down really quickly and it provides really awesome nutrients to the garden bed while also really helping it to insulate it. So doing it this way really ensures that the seeds are covered, but those broccoli seedlings are also mulched. They have the nutrients from the compost / the water retention as well, because it does act as a mulch. And then I'm kind of technically capping that layer with some cardboard and then further mulch to weigh down that cardboard as well. I've planted them in a row like this here, just because if we do start to get some more bug pressure, then it's really easy to just put some hoops over that rather than planting them here, there and everywhere around in this little kind of permaculture space, which is usually what I do in this patch because I like to create all of these layers and diversity. But with broccoli and a lot of other brassicas, they really do need some extra help in terms of protection, and that's what I'm giving them here. So I think that's about it for today's video. I'll try and edit this pretty quickly and have this up soon. We're actually getting some rain over the next few days, so it's a great time to get the snow peas in the ground so that watering is not on my mind. I don't have to worry about that. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to give this video a like and subscribe for more videos like this. And until my next video, happy gardening everyone. Bye.